join me in welcoming to the dais Shri Devendra Fadnavis, Honorable Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Shri Rajiv Kumar, Secretary, Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance, Government of India, Shri Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General CII, and Shri Ashish Kumar Chauhan, MD and CEO of Bombay Stock Exchange. May I request Mr. Ashish Kumar Chauhan to deliver the welcome remarks.
Honorable Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, Shri Rajiv Kumar, Secretary Banking and Finance, Shri Chandrajit Banerjee, Secretary General CII, friends, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure and honor to welcome you all to this post-budget interaction with Honorable Finance Minister. He is on his way. The last few days have seen a lot of debate, a lot of analysis and a lot of commentary on the budget for 2019-20. I, on behalf of the BSE, thank Honorable Finance Minister for promoting inclusive growth. After 5 years of transformational economic policy and structural reforms, the government, under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, have continued their focus on economy, middle class, healthcare, infrastructure, digitization, as well as a clear vision for modern, strong and confident nation. The decisive push for the real estate sector via changes in taxation and deemed rental income will provide impetus to the housing sector and will have a multiplier effect on GDP growth given the sector's significant economic linkages. As it is to fiscal prudence, despite providing the benefits to the middle class, farmers and the unorganized sector, workers will boost consumption, improve social security and ultimately revitalize the Indian economy, which bodes well for the capital markets as well. We firmly believe that the budget has rolled out a wave of next-gen structural reforms, setting the stage for decades of high growth. The budget has achieved a balance. It is market-friendly, consumer-friendly, farmer-friendly, worker-friendly, and also business-friendly. Under the leadership of our own Chief Minister Shri Devendra Fadnavis ji, the state of Maharashtra has seen a transformation and has revived the dream of positioning Mumbai as a global financial center for financial services and position Maharashtra as a leader in financial services, manufacturing and information technology. In my 30+ years of living in the state, it is incredible to see the ongoing construction of Mumbai Trans-Harbour Link, Navi Mumbai Airport, Nagpur-Mumbai Super Expressway, Samruddhi Corridor, 500 km plus metro lines, Mumbai Coastal Road, all turning into reality at once. This reflects the state government's and Honorable Chief Minister's commitment to provide the state-of-the-art infrastructure best-in-class sector policies, stable industrial relations, and an investor-friendly business environment for the industry. Sir, we have received feedback from investors and corporates who are also extremely happy. The governments, the center and the state have been consistently creating an ease of doing business and predictability in policies. Sir, we want to assure you and the Ministry of Finance that BSE will do everything possible to help all Indians to participate in the growth of Indian industry and the economy. BSE is the hub of investment, a place of wealth creation, which it has been doing for the last 144 years. The BSE platform has long connected the corporate and investors and created wealth in excess of $2 trillion. It's 7th largest in the world in terms of market capitalization. It's Asia's oldest and the fastest exchange in the world with 6 microseconds response time. In 1 second, there are 1 million microseconds, 10 lakh microseconds. We give you a response at 150,000th of a second. It's world's largest exchange in terms of number of stocks listed. We are delighted to inform you that under the leadership of the government and under the aegis of SEBI, many new instruments are available to investors, giving them a wide choice of asset classes. I thank Sri Hari Tyagi, Chairman SEBI, who is also present here today, for taking leadership and providing guidance to us at all times. Sir, the narrative, the initiatives taken by the government provide us a unique opportunity to take India forward. We look forward to the process of reforms in the coming months that would motivate industry to contribute more to the nation building. BSE is committed to offering innovative solutions for challenges facing the country and to contribute to development paradigm that takes India to the top of the global rankings. Before concluding, I take this opportunity to express our hearty thanks to all business leaders, members from the industry, member brokers, the media contingent, and all invitees and all associations for participating in this interactive session today. I also sincerely acknowledge the contribution of CII in organizing this event, as well as the support from government, police, security officials. We look forward to their continued support in future as well. I once again thank Honorable Chief Minister Sri Devendra Fadnavis ji and Honorable Minister Sri Piyush Goyal ji for their distinguished presence here in this event before us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chauhan. May I request Mr. Chauhan to felicitate the dignitaries on the dais with the BSE coffee table book on temples of wealth creation. May I now invite Mr. Rajiv Kumar, Secretary, Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance, Government of India, to deliver his address.
Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Chauhan, Mr. Banerjee, all the captains of industry, ladies and gentlemen, friends from media. I always wanted to come. It's a great privilege and honor to be here with you. Essentially wanted to come and listen to you and learn and then take the policy forward to whatever you suggest. But you know the last 1 year what has happened in the entire financial institutions space that I just couldn't come. So I'm really very, very happy to be here and I look forward to learn from you and hear your feedbacks. As you're all aware, India continues to be the fastest growing major economy in the world for the last 2 years and is now the world's 6th largest economy. This represents growing and robust demand for economic opportunity for industry and businesses. RBI's assessment yesterday that inflation will be contained has opened up space for policy action is an indicator for industry to focus on growth. Steps taken to enable financial institutions to support credit growth in clean manner, I'll elaborate a little later in this presentation. The broad objectives of and the framework of the government during the last 4-5 years has been a fiscal prudence and a fiscal discipline, inflationary control, growth orientation, enhancing public expenditure, transparent allocation of natural resources, unprecedented push to formalization and digitization, structural reforms to achieve all this. I can expand on each of these items, but due to shortage of time, I will not do that. But to just give you a broad picture of the fundamentals of the economy and the transformation, fiscal deficit is down from 4.5% to 3.4% now. And government has remained very, very committed to the fiscal discipline in the entire thing and will not move towards any populist measures. The size of the union budget has gone up from 15.59 lakh crores to 24.5 lakh crores today and will further increase to 27.84 in the next year, and this represents a 58% increase over a period of 5 years. Increase in the size of budget has enabled us to make more capital expenditure. This has increased by 69% in 5 years from 1.87 lakh crores to rupees 3.1 lakh crores in 2018-19, and is poised to increase further in the next year to around 3.36 lakhs crores. Inflation, as you are aware, is down from close to 9% to 4, in the range of 4. Current account deficit is steadily falling from 3.7 to close to 2.9, 2.8. Country's international rating has moved up. Ease of doing business, we have moved up close to 50 ranks. So how all this has happened? So this is the fiscal discipline, the kind of structural reforms which have happened. What are I can't explain all the reforms, but to summarize a few, as you have seen a presentation on the GST, we are stabilizing close to 1 lakh crore now, and as the demand picks up, the growth happens. We are confident that this will not only stabilize, but will go further. The direct taxes, you are all aware, the base has increased from say around 7 lakh crores over earlier 5 years to around 12 lakh crores. Expanding taxpayers' base and the recent announcements in the budget to give relief to the payers below 5 is essentially moving in a direction of moderate tax rates and high compliance. And as you have been perhaps told earlier, and as has been announced, we are very fast moving towards a system where the assessments are all contactless and faceless. In next year and a half's time, the direction is that there is no harassment, and there is a clear indication that all these scrutiny cases as well, 99% cases are already assessed online, but rest of it is also without any contact or any kind of a, it is totally faceless, it's system driven. So the other major transformational reforms include the IBC, as you are all aware. I'll detail it a little later. The government started with a very strong fundamental structural change in terms of the acceptance of the Finance Commission recommendations by increasing devolution of taxes from 32 to 42%. And this was in the true spirit of the cooperative federalism. This gave sufficient space, enhanced space to the states to develop as per their own genius. The UPI, there is a 50 times increase in the digitization. The entire space in which the money moves is all changing rapidly. One nation, one card is what is in offering. All financial institutions, banks are almost ready to have one nation, one card. The RuPay card, we are looking statewide the development of the soft power, the insistence on the RuPay card and issuance of the RuPay card, so that's the real soft power we are thinking in terms of it. So there were many challenges before us to ensure this. You have seen over the last 1 year many challenges to ensure transparent and effective and clean intermediation of the financial institutions and deployment of public funds towards the growth. We have had number of cases, you are all aware. I need not repeat the nature of aggressive lending, qualities of equity, repeated restructurings, non-availability of markets and transparent processes for rolling over of these assets, and various structural changes and reforms, transformative reforms have taken place in the entire financial institution space, which I just mention here in order to put all together so that you can join dots and see a bigger picture. This is all simultaneous, together, and in a direction which will give you only and only clean intermediation through the financial institutions. I will just quickly mention a few. This is action on the shell companies, more than 3 lakhs, you are all aware. IBC, which is very fast changing the creditor-debtor relationship in this country, that you are all aware. The introduction of Section 29, that you are aware. Reducing I mean, the large consortiums, which were a problem, as you all know, which could be used to delay the decisions or even to play against each other. Benamis Property Act, Fugitive Offenders Act, responsibility of all stakeholders through NFRA, DRTs which were clocked. The limits were very, very old, 10 lakhs. Most of them are securitized, still this was 10 lakhs. The unsecured depositors bill to take care of what is happening in many parts of the country in terms of duping the poor. Appointments in PSBs, appointments in the entire space in the government, which is without any possible intermediation, no lobbyings. Today, the entire banking sector in the public sector doesn't have vacancies. It's all filled up in March. Opening of the big banks to the participation from the private sector so that you induct talent from outside and you allow the cross-fertilization of ideas. DBT, no intermediation again. It's all straight to the masses. All social sector schemes, 36 of them are just passing through DBT, huge savings to the government. Then, connecting the data points. As you are all aware that because of these transformative changes, large number of data points have been created in the system. While GST has all the turnovers on one hand, the taxation returns have the incomes on one side, and the bank passbooks have all the cash flows and other information. Simply connecting the data points. Why is it not system driven? Why should somebody be going to the bank all the times to establish the credit worthiness? At least the first stage of establishing the credit worthiness should be faceless, should be contactless. And that's what is the direction in which the analytics will make us move. And that is in that respect that most of the banks have already have fintechs in their system, so that you can just do the analytics and make the system hassle-free. And for smaller loans, retails, SMEs, RM and child, should be won from the comfort of home, not necessary to go to the branches. And you are all aware that markets are better informed. Markets are better informed with a premium on good governance. So no information arbitrage. I must come to what has been the result of all this. The result has been that in the banking space, the entire recognition process is over. The reductions of NPAs has already started happening. Today, the restructured standard assets are lowest in the entire decade, just 0.6%, because they've all been recognized. Provisioning ratios are as high as 68-70%. So all this is making all the financial institutions, banks, private, public, NBFCs, FIs, HFCs, far more responsible in the system and be ready to support your growth. The credit growth has increased from 9% to 14% in the recent past, and with this, the banks all the financial institutions are really ready to support all the growth which you are all aspiring for and for which demand is there. With the liberalization of ECB norms, reduction in risk weights for high-rated NBCs, measure to improve liquidity, reduction in policy rates, all these are looking towards the cheaper credit for industrial businesses. Banks are really ready to partner with you and support you in whatever manner they can. The continued pickup in capacity utilization to 74% is another very, very positive outlook as reported by RBI again. The entire restructuring of the MSME space, close to 7 lakh MSMEs which require restructuring. So they all can be restructured till 31st March 20 without downgrading the assets. That also is close to a lakh of crore of thing which will get restructured, which will also add to the demand, and in that process this will also create further opportunities. To sum up, all the financial institutions are really ready. They have gone through the journey. there is a turning around, there is an entire kind of a reboot of the system. And with the technology, with the data points connection, with the transparency in the entire process, they are all ready to support you in whatever manner they can. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now our privilege and honor to invite the Honorable Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Shri Devendra Fadnavis, to deliver his special address.
आशीष जी, राजीव कुमार जी, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, all the captains from industry and financial institutions, ladies and gentlemen, my role for today is redefined. Right now I am playing as a night watchman. And I am supposed to speak till the Honorable Finance Minister arrives. Hopefully he will arrive early because he is also Railway Minister. So from airport, he preferred to travel by the local train. And I'm sure that he will come and relieve me. Otherwise, Chandrajit ji is there to hold the wicket. In fact, I think when we talk about the budget, we always say that a budget is for a financial year, but its effects are for years. And one miss can have impact on many more years. And I think in that perspective, we should look at this budget, which is not a full-fledged budget, which is an interim type of budget. But I would say that it is a sort of culmination of all the policy initiatives that have been taken in past 4 years by the government, where all of us know that very tough structural reforms have been carried out, and due to many disruptions, I would say, the entire economy has seen a little turmoil, but I think that these tough decisions have brought India back on growth path, on growth trajectory, and a nation where once the growth was sarcastically criticized as Hindu growth rate, the economy now shows that it is the fastest developing economy in the entire world. And I think there is a basic change in the approach. We have seen that all successive governments have talked about poverty alleviation. And I think for a country like India, the growth model has to be empowering the poor, has to be poverty alleviation. But I think the approach matters a lot. we have seen that there was an approach of right-based expenditure. I don't want to criticize that approach. That can also be a good approach. But that approach alone cannot change the fate of country. We have seen right to food, we have seen right to education, very good legislations. But if the approach is only based on expenditure rather than investment, I think no country has ever been able to fight poverty through doles. It has to be empowerment, it has to be investment, it has to be an approach where the lives of people are changed. And it also creates an ecosystem which empowers them to earn, to have jobs. And I think this particular approach of the government of the day has been transforming the entire economy. I would say that today, when we are having a demographic advantage, this is a time when I think every single year matters. All of us know that by 2020 we will have the youngest population in the entire globe, and by 2020, when the median or average age of Japan will be 48 years, of Eastern Europe 44 years, of Western Europe 41 years, of America 39 years, of China 37 years, the median age of India will be just 27 years. And the entire developed world would be aging, and India will be full of human resource, which if properly channelized, we can change this country, and I think we can make it one of the most developed country in the world. And this window is not forever. The demographic advantage of India will continue till 2035. And from there, it will be shifted to the African countries. So this period of 2020 to 2035 is a very critical period, wherein every single decision, every single budget, every single penny expenditure, every single investment will count and has to be done rightly. And what is the difference between the earlier budgets and this budget? I think the major difference is that this budget may be a budget or interim budget for year 2019-2020, but it has also charted a way towards year 2030 with a very clear-cut vision of making India a 10 trillion economy by 2030. And it is not just something which is said through budget, but the budget has actually shown a pathway towards making India a 10 trillion economy by 2030. And I think with this focused approach, we are sure that we will be able to achieve. Today, we have seen infrastructure-led growth in India. As Raju Kumarji was telling, that in the infrastructure sector or capital investment mostly, it has gone up by 69%. And I think if we calculate the off-budget investment which we are doing, it is huge. Today, if you look at the road sector, the port sector, the airports being developed, the railway sector, unprecedented investment is seen. And all of us know that world over, the path towards development has traveled through infrastructure. And it is not just the announcement, the speed. What has been different in this government is the speed and the scale. Our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, always says that what we require speed and scale. And that is what is being seen absolutely on the ground. We have seen the amount of roads which are constructed every day has gone up by more than 10 times. In just 4 years, I must congratulate Mr. Piyush Goyal that today in India there is no unmanned railway crossing. Not a single. A very focused approach with which the railway has done it. In the entire infrastructure sector, the amount of investment that is going and the speed at which we are being able to create this infrastructure, I think that is what is leading us towards the goal of 5 trillion economy by 2025 and 10 trillion economy by 2030. I think the agriculture sector, it was a sector which was driven by relief and rehabilitation. In the event of drought, in the event of excessive rain, in the event of hailstorm, the government used to do relief and rehabilitation, and that was all. The sustainability into agriculture is key to our development. And that is what is understood by this government. The amount of investment which is going in agriculture, in creating sustainability, whether it is Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, Maharashtra alone, let me tell you, has benefited to the tune of 26,000 crores. The investment which is going into the irrigation projects. And till 2014 in Maharashtra we could create irrigation potential of 32 lakh hectares, and with this investment in just 4 years we will be adding 16 lakh hectares to the irrigation potential. So what we could do in 50 years, 50% of it will be achieved in just 4 to 5 years. That is the amount of investment and speed at which we are changing the agriculture sector. And to give sustainability, the procurement has been unprecedented. In fact, it's not just the MSP which has been increased by 150%. In fact, this report of Dr. Swaminathan was received in 2006, but no government dared to actually implement it. But I must congratulate Prime Minister who took bold decision, and he decided to increase the MSP to unprecedented level. And it is easy to increase MSP, but the most difficult task is procurement, is market intervention. And the market intervention which this government has done, we have never seen. In fact, just to give you figures from the state of Maharashtra, in fact, from 1999 to 2014, in 15 years, we have procured the agriculture produce to the tune of 450 crores. And in 3 years of this government, we have procured the agriculture produce to the tune of 8,500 crores. 450 crores in 15 years and 8,500 crores in just 3 to 4 years. I think this is the change. With this investment going into the agriculture sector, and I think the rural economy has also seen unprecedented investment, whether it's roads, the programs like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, where we have created history in constructing toilets, and it is a program where not only we are giving facility of toilet, but it is also accelerating our economy, because every toilet built is creating opportunity. And I think again, if I look at the state of Maharashtra, for 50, 60, 70 years till 2014, we had constructed 45% or 45% families in Maharashtra had access to toilets. And in next 3 years, we gave access to additional 55%. And we made Maharashtra ODF. So in a way, what we could achieve in 60 years with the focused approach of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, we have achieved it. More than that, in just 4 years' time. Same is happening with the rural housing. I think all these schemes are not just providing entitlements to the poor, but at the same time, these investments are also creating jobs. They are also creating employment opportunities. Today, when we have already built in our country 1 crore 25 lakh houses, again the speed matters. Because if you look at the last 5 years of the earlier government, from 2009 to 2014, only 25 lakh houses were constructed. And in these 4 years, 1 crore 25 lakh houses have been constructed, and around same number is underway, is under construction. In state like Maharashtra, where the SECC list has allowed 10 lakh families to get houses under PMAY in the rural area, we have already finished 5 lakh. And hopefully we will be able to finish rest 5 lakhs by this year. And the SECC list of 2011 will be finished. And now we are registering those who are left out of that list. And hopefully, not by 2022, but by 2020 or 2021, we will accomplish the dream of Honorable Prime Minister by giving a house to every single person in Maharashtra. And I think this investment is accelerating the entire economy. I must say that this change in approach, that really has changed the way our economy is performing. And I think now, if you look at this budget, the farmers have been, thank you PVG for entering, I was holding the wicket as a night watchman. You were holding wicket as night watchman, but you hit a century. Now I think that I would like to conclude, because there are certain things which one should hear from the horse's mouth. You are not a horse, but
गधा नहीं बोला.
मुझे तो लोग हाथी ही बोलते हैं. I must say that all these things which we could see in this budget, from where the money is coming, it is because of the policies, the structural changes that have happened in last 4 years. I think what we have been telling people academically, that increase the tax base, plug the loopholes, and then the revenue will increase, and then invest that revenue for betterment of those who are poor. All these things which we are being told academically, we have found, we have seen that all these things have happened practically in this government, and that is why I think such wonderful schemes have been announced through this budget. On behalf of all the people who are here, and on the behalf of State of Maharashtra, I would like to congratulate Piyush ji for presenting a wonderful budget, and we look forward for a greater analysis of all these schemes in the budget by Piyush ji. So I conclude by thanking CII, by thanking BSE for providing us this opportunity to interact with you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shri Piyush Goyal, Honorable Minister for Finance, Corporate Affairs, Railway and Government. May I request Mr. Ashish Kumar Chauhan to felicitate the Honorable Minister. May I now request Honorable Minister Shri Piyush Goyal to deliver his special address.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Honorable Chief Minister Shri Devendra Fadnavis ji, and I have no hesitation in saying he's probably the finest Chief Minister we have seen in a very, very long time. And for all of us Mumbaikars particularly, it's a matter of great pride that more than 50% of all infrastructure projects that are happening in India today are happening in the state of Maharashtra. I'm not saying that, I think a Deutsche Bank report said that. And then within that, Mumbai is getting the largest share of projects, of a vision for transportation, a vision for organized development, now a vision for redevelopment of Dharavi. So some fantastic things in the making. Thank you, Devendra ji, for everything you're doing. पहले तो गाना था मुंबई से आया मेरा दोस्त, पर मैं मुंबई करूं तो नागपुर से आया मेरा दोस्त. Mr. Rajiv Kumar, Secretary, Department of Financial Services. Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, he has been kind enough, along with all the other associations, to put together today's program, even at a very short notice. my good friend Ashish Chauhan, always at the forefront of helping government and stakeholders connect with each other. And what better place than this lovely hall where you and I can get together. I see a lot of very, very eminent leaders of trade and industry bodies here. Honorable Chairman of SEBI, Mr. Tyagi, has joined us also. State Bank Chairman, Mr. Rajneesh Kumar, several other bankers. I see persons from different professions, chartered accountants, company secretaries, very eminent stock market players तो नहीं बोल सकते, क्या हम बोल सकते हैं? Experts. कुछ लोग तो सिर्फ करोड़ों रुपए बनाने में एक्सपर्टीज रखते हैं. But I must acknowledge that some of the large persons on the stock market here, when we were consulting last year, when long-term capital gains was introduced, I must acknowledge and thank them that they were willing participants and said it's only fair that we should also be paying taxes on the long-term capital. And that is the true spirit of taxpayers today in this country that I think Prime Minister Modi in his guidance to me when we were preparing the fine-tuning the budget and my budget comments said that we have to acknowledge the big role that all of you in this room have done to make India what it is. And truly I meant every word of what I said, that it is only your contribution that has helped us bring about a foundational change, a structural change, which Devendra ji was just mentioning, to the way this country thinks, to the way this country works. And therefore a big thank you to all of you, not only for being present here today in such large number, but for all that you have done for our great country, for our motherland. A big thank you for all your ideas, a big thank you for your contributions in every different way. And it is only fair that 5 years after this government comes in, as a culmination of all the efforts that you and we have together worked towards, we should be celebrating what the nation has achieved in a short span of 5 years and what we believe should be the vision for India over the next decade until 2030. My thanks are also due to very many dear friends. I come from Mumbai, so I can see almost half the room of familiar faces. But thank you, Rakesh. Thank you, Deepak Bhai, for being here. But if I keep thanking Pawan and everybody here, then I think the evening will be over. But at the outset, I must say, at the last minute, the budget got initiated in the Lok Sabha this afternoon at 12:30, so I could not have possibly come in as scheduled earlier. And then my flight got delayed. But the train journey made up for some of that lost time. Since you started like that. हमने यहाँ पे वीडियो कैमरा से लिंक रखा था कि ट्रेन में मैं देख सकूं कि आप क्या बोल रहे हैं. पर जैसे आपने नाइट वॉचमैन का रोल प्ले किया, मैं भी बुधवार को शाम को मुझे पता चला कि मेरे को जिम्मेदारी संभालनी होगी और फ्राइडे को पेश करना था. तो मुझे लगता है वो 6-7 दिन कोई दिन नहीं था जब 3-3.5 के पहले मैं सो पाया. लेकिन वास्तव में ये जो अनुभव था, ये अपने आप में मेरे जीवन का शायद एक अनोखा भी था, बहुत अच्छा मौका था जिसमें मुझे भी बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला. और जिस प्रकार से माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने लगातार उस दौरान मेरा हाथ पकड़ के मुझे नेविगेट किया इस पूरे प्रोसेस में,